بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تبارك وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك اللهم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. We continue, inshallah ta'ala, conversation that took place between the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas while he was ill. And we got to the point in the explanation of the benefits of the hadith, hadith number 6 in the chapter of the intention in Ryaad Assalihin. And we talked yesterday about the importance of giving ruqya to the person that is ill without them having to ask for it. And we gave some examples of the ruqya that the Prophet ﷺ did, in the authentic hadith. Another point, the fact that, subhanAllah, when a person visits a brother or a sister that is ill, and you see that that person wants you to stick around and stay longer, then by all means do so. Alhamdulillah. Do so as much as possible. That a person, subhanAllah, benefits from you staying with them, making them feel better. Especially, as I said before, if you're the type of person that you can actually make them feel better with your conversation, give them hope, make sure that, or someone that will make, and alhamdulillah, bring ease and bring happiness to a person's heart, then by all means do so. But if you see the absolute opposite, that by staying you are making the person more tired, and as you know, especially in our cultures, you'll find that people when they have guests over or someone visiting, they're not completely comfortable. They're not entirely themselves. They need to do some effort to be, in being with their guests and talking and things like that. Sometimes a person that is ill is not able to do that. So you, as the visitor, have to be kind of in tune to that, and be sensitive to that. When you see a person it is difficult for them to basically entertain you while they're not feeling well, then you should cut your visit as short as possible in order not to make it taxing for that person. Another benefit from the hadith, we see, of course, the tremendous mannerism of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there is no doubt that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam adheres to the highest mannerism. لذلك ذكر الله تبارك وتعالى ذلك في كتابه ومن أحسن من أصدق من الله قيلا. There is no one that is more truthful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حيث قال النون والقلم وما يسطرون ما أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praising His Messenger said in the Quran, known by the pen and what they inscribe, you you are, O Muhammad, by the favor, but you are not, O Muhammad, by the favor of your Lord, a madman, as they claim, as these disbelievers claim and say about you. Incidentally, you see, subhanAllah, when in these particular claims that they made about the Prophet ﷺ, and you see how misguided they were, how could you possibly accuse someone of being a madman, someone who's crazy, and someone who's a magician, and someone who's a warlock, or someone that practices some kind of magic, witchcraft? They don't go together. They don't call it witchcraft for nothing. It requires, believe it or not, in a dubious way, it requires some craftsmanship to be able to practice that kind of, the witchcraft. It takes some intelligence. So you cannot be crazy and be someone who is a witch at the same time, or someone who's a warlock at the same time. They don't go together, but it shows you how misguided the disbelievers of Quraysh were, and their accusations with the Prophet ﷺ. Any kind of accusation they could think of, they just try to tag him with it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always responded to them and declared the innocence of His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Allah ta'ala goes on to say, indeed, for you is a reward that is uninterrupted, and indeed you are of great moral character. That is the Prophet ﷺ. And wallahi, if we don't learn anything from the Prophet ﷺ, and we learn just this, it will go a long way for us to study his biography and see how he dealt with different situations, and follow his footsteps in his morality and the high standard in which he held himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in dealing with friends and foe. And subhanAllah, sometimes you see how he dealt with some of his enemies, people that actually tried to kill him, and you see how, subhanAllah, the high standard of mannerism that he adhered to in dealing with them. It's, subhanAllah, it surprises a person. Sometimes you think, well, did this really happen? And it is so high in quality that you think that it's hard to believe. Like, for example, the person that in one of the battles snuck up on the Prophet ﷺ when he was taking a nap, and he put the sword in his throat. And he says, "Oh Muhammad, who's going to protect you from me now?" He said, "Allah." Very simply. As soon as he said that, the sword fell from the person's hand. He picked it up and said, "Okay, who's going to protect you from me now?" It's like, "Well, you are a nice man, you're a good brother, you are this and that." Like, just come. And he was within his right to do the same thing. When عَقَوْتُمْ فَعَقِبُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا عَقِبْتُمْ بِهِ. If you punish in the same way that you actually were punished. The man literally had the sword on the Prophet ﷺ's throat. He could have done the same thing, and actually, imagine if anybody else was in that situation, any leader or any king, and he was in that situation, subhanAllah, he will kill that person and their family and their dog as well. Everyone. Right? Everyone will get killed. Like I heard this person that subhanAllah, in this society, he came home and he found his wife with somebody else. He didn't even talk to them. He got in his car and drove across town to her her parents' house. Killed her parents, her brothers and sisters, and their dog as well. SubhanAllah. So this is the kind of behavior that most of the leaders, if they find themselves in that kind of jeopardy, that they will do. But the Prophet ﷺ, of course, was being the messenger of Allah ﷺ, mercy with him took the upper hand over anything else, And of course, wanting to call people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was more important to him, and he never took retribution for himself. As Aisha radiallahu anha said that he never got angry for himself, except that if one of the limits of Allah is transgressed, then he got angry. He got angry for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he showed us in his mannerism that it's important to visit the people that are ill. And subhanAllah, the fact that when he walked in the areas of Medina, when he found little kids, he will say Salaam alaikum to each one of them, and he will put his hand on their heads, on their hairs, and he will talk to them and converse with them, and subhanAllah, he will talk basically to anyone. Another incident that comes to mind, I'm sure that the Arabs from amongst you, سمعت بحاتم الطائي. حاتم الطائي كان يضرب به المثل في الكرم. He was one of the Arabs that he was, when it comes to generosity, he was the example of generosity, this man, Hatim al-Ta'i. Unfortunately, he died upon kufr. He was actually from a Christian tribe, of the Arabs. But his son, Ali, and it's kind of a long story how he came to come to Medina, because at first he had told some of the monks that were between his area and Medina to watch out for the army of Muhammad, that they were coming his way, to let him know. And when they alerted him to that the army of Muhammad was coming, he ran to Greater Syria, to Sham. But subhanAllah, his sister was captured, and when she revealed to the Prophet who she was, he honored her, and he allowed her to go and to fetch her brother from Greater Syria. She said, just come and believe in Muhammad, because he will honor you and he will take care of you. So when he came as a leader of his tribe, Adi, he's looking around trying to figure out what is this about? Is this really a prophet, or just basically a regular leader, with power? So he came to meet the Prophet ﷺ, and he took him to his house, to his chamber. And as they were walking, imagine the scenario. Basically, you are a leader of, as a president or a king, and you have someone important representing the delegation of a whole tribe. Okay, he's the leader of a tribe, and you're walking with him to convince him about Islam. He said that this very old woman came to the Prophet ﷺ and took him by the hand as he was talking to the man, and she dragged him. He left him standing as the woman was talking to the Prophet ﷺ, and she had many concerns that she was voicing, and the Prophet ﷺ stood there and listened to her until she finished. And then he said he will take care of her concerns. And that took a long time while the person, Adi, is standing there waiting for the Prophet ﷺ. And that already caught his attention. Why? And who does that? This is the leader of all these people. But this woman, and she seemed like a poor person. She seemed like she was in bondage, so it was a slave woman. Anyways, he talked to her for the longest time. And then they go to the Prophet ﷺ's house, and he sees that there's nothing there. There's a straw mat, and there's a little jar hanging, and the Prophet ﷺ had nothing. So to him, and after seeing that, and he's seeing that the Prophet ﷺ was the leader for all of Medina and a big part of Arabia already, and he saw how he was living, he was sure. He understood that this is not about power or control, but this is actually a prophethood, and he's a prophet and a messenger came with an important message to save humanity from themselves and from al-kufr. But the point is that what happened with the Prophet ﷺ and that old woman, because you are leading the chief or the leader of a whole tribe, representing a whole, representing a big tribe, and you're hoping to call him to Islam, and then this woman pulls you by the hand, and the Prophet did not say, hey, this is not the time, this is not the right time for this, or no. He went with her, listened to her all the way, and it took a long time, and then he went about his business. And subhanAllah, if this is not mannerism, I don't know what is. Much time we have? Or 15 minutes. Another important part, and I will allude to a little bit, and inshallah talk about more, inshallah ta'ala tomorrow, that is the fact that we see from the hadith the importance of asking the opinion of people of knowledge. And that is sad. When the Prophet came to visit him, he sees the opportunity in asking about his wealth. What would he do with his wealth? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. That's exactly what Sa'd radiallahu anhu did. And we will, inshallah, also talk about the importance of istishara and istikhara, and as it relates to the things that we're supposed to do on a daily basis, the decisions that we have to make in our lives, and the proper order, which one has to come first, istishara or istikhara. That is what we will talk about inshallah ta'ala tomorrow. So ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you and I from the ones that adhere to the mannerism of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make you and I from the followers of his sunnah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون. سلام على المرسلين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.